Hey, what's up? He getting on. He got his computer slow. We also on YouTube now. You go to YouTube link right there. I've seen the page. I think okay, let me check if I did. Yeah, just waiting on JB the General, and then we can start. Y'all see the graphics? All right. Oh, there we go. I wonder what's taking him so long. Let me check and see. He says computer's lagging, so we're still waiting. There we go.
Stupid technical difficulties.
I would say on your phone, go to YouTube and see the or click on that link down at the bottom on the messages chat. That's the YouTube link. So now people can watch us on YouTube.
On Messenger.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let's just run it, man, since we already 30 minutes late.
But we got unlimited, so we're good. So ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me put my applause on. All right, this is the N.O.T.E Podcast. We are finally back again. We had some technical difficulties, but we finally got together. Here on the N.O.T.E Podcast, I'm Jay Daves, that's JB the General. And we got some interesting topics. I mean, we're getting close to Super Bowl week. That's in about another week. And let's get to it. So first topic. So the first topic we're going to start off. We're going to start off right from the get go. Let's start with the Washington's revealing of the mascot and logo. And for those who don't know, for the Washington Redskins back in the day, and some people didn't like the name, said the name was racist, so they decided to take that logo off. They've been the Washington football team for 2 years. And I believe it was Wednesday, they revealed themselves as the Washington Commanders. The Commanders. Captain Commanders. Or the Cobra was the G.I. Joe Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander? It is a Captain Commander, Cobra Commander. Yeah.
So what you think about the Washington Commanders?
Trash. Remember that meme where he was looking at, the dude was like steady, like he's looking at his computer and he just goes like, trash. That is one of the worst names I've ever seen in the history of sports.
Well, you also had the Red Tails, you had the Red Wolves. What else they had to choose from?
I was talking to my coworker about this, right? We both can't stand the name. It's so horrible. And he basically said that it sounds like what are those teams, man? Like a semi-pro team. He basically said it sounded like a semi-pro team, which it does. I would at least went with like the Hogs, the Washington Wild Hogs.
That's what it was, the Red Hogs or something like that.
Yeah, something, the Red Hogs, Wild Hogs, the Washington Wildcats, but the Commanders, man, I mean, dude, that's just awful, man. I will say I like their colors. I like the color scheme and everything, but to be
honest, colors still the same?
Yeah, I think so, But my thing is, though, I would have stayed with the football team. I like the name football team better than the Commanders. Yeah, it's the Jaguars versus the football team, or it's the Lions versus the football team, the Cowboys versus the football team. Now it's like the Cowboys versus the Commanders, or the Giants versus the Commanders. I mean, that's awful, man.
But with the mascot, when I saw the mascot, it looked like the G.I. Joe Cobra Kai.
I haven't seen the mascot actually. I don't know what he looks like. I just seen the logo. The logo looks like something that they established or something. It's kind of like a seal of approval or something. But you know what I was thinking? I was actually thinking it took you 2 years to come up with the freaking Commanders, man.
Right.
I mean, whoever came up with that name, honestly, after 2 years should be fired. I mean, you should be fired.
found the logo, but that's good. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, they literally should be fired on site, like the Commanders. I mean, like, yeah, let's go, Commanders. Like you said, like that sounds like G.I. Joe Commanders. Washington Commanders. Washington was there. Washington. So I mean, come on, man. Like, oh, it's 2022, and the best name you can come up with is the freaking Commanders. Look, I get it. You know, some Native Americans were, I guess, offended by the Redskins. I'm not Native American. I mean, I have some Native American in my family. You know, generations of Native Americans. Somewhere in there. I mean, somewhere. But what I'm gonna say is, I mean, if you didn't want them to be called Redskins, I mean, I understand, but whoever that brain trust is that came out with the Commanders, I mean, come on, man, it took you 2 years. I mean, look, we got a team called the Chiefs. There's a team
I'm
called
gonna
the
get to that
Atlanta
in just a
Braves.
sec. Go ahead. I'm gonna get to
Yeah,
that.
we got teams called Atlanta Braves. All I'm saying is you could have represented Native Americans in a better light if some people got offended. Like you still could have called yourselves I mean, look, you could have called yourselves the Washington Cherokees or the Washington Sioux. There's a bunch of Native American names. All I'm saying, man, if Redskins was offended, but you still felt like you want to honor the Native Americans. I guess that's what the story goes. They said they were honoring Native Americans, but you don't honor them by calling the change names to Commanders, man. That does them a disservice for all the people that were okay with the name Redskins, man. But that's just awful, man. I mean, that is like, dude, I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
let me read some of these comments. And by the way, we got Bootleg Cable Podcast watching. Special guest. Thank you.
shout out to them boys, man. Shout out to them, man. I still remember I was
They
on
they they
episode.
watching they watching on YouTube. By the way, we are live on YouTube now, so you can click on the link on the chat, and the link is up on my Facebook page and on the
Yeah, hey, shout out to Bootleg Podcast. I'm sorry, Bootleg Cable Podcast. I was on episode 50. I never forget.
oh
When we
yeah.
made it episode 50, I was there. I had a great time with the boys, man. They do good things.
By the way, this is episode 22. We on
22.
22.
Oh man, I don't know why it's that low. I feel we've been doing this for years, but we have been consistent. So again, I apologize, but for 2022, we're trying to be more consistent with what we're doing.
Oh,
But
and then Bootleg Podcast said Commander seems a deep rooted in supremacy. I'm gonna get to that in just a sec. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean that's terrible, man. I mean, but see, look, this is why they did that. First of all, it's in Washington, you know. So uh commander and president. The president is called the commander in chief.
mhm.
Okay. So I even heard that they were thinking about the name the Washington presidents. You know, that would have been better. That actually would have been better than commanders. But so commander in chief and commanders. That's what I mean, but come on, dude. Like, first of all, um, one of their dudes who works directly underneath uh man, I don't know his title, forgive me, but he works directly under uh, Daniel Snyder, who was the owner of the Commanders. He's a black dude.
Yeah.
He's actually a black dude. I don't know. I don't know his title, man. Like, I wish I could pull up his title. You know, but dude, you're a black dude, and that's what that's what you come up with. I mean, come on, dog. Like, that is awful, man. I don't want to talk about this more. let's move on. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this.
Oh, let me read one of the comments from the other day.
Go ahead, because I got to say this after this. Go ahead.
So this person said they went from the Indians to a general effing cluster. FR the fuck racist Indian name to commanders.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying, man. Like they were originally called the Boston Braves. Then they went to the Boston Redskins, then the Washington Redskins to the football team. They should have stayed the freaking football team. All I'm gonna say this is what I'm gonna say. Right. I'm gonna say this. That is the worst freaking name in the history of sports. It's trash. Whoever came with that name is trash. Your team is trash, first of all. That is trash.
my thing is, who's giving
Do
these people
better.
authority to get rid of these names? If they go after the Cleveland Indians next, they probably gonna go after the Chiefs. They more likely gonna go after the Seminoles. Who's giving these people these authority to do that?
I mean, any ethnic group that feels offended. Look, I mean,
But who's feeling offended? Is it? Are they really feeling offended? Are like the
some of them are. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. It just depends on who you talk to and what, look, okay, here's the thing about it. As a chief, let's look at the Kansas City Chief, right? The chief is it's a leader among Native American tribes, somebody that, that they look to, the leader, the chieftain, right? So that's how can you really call that offensive? You can't really call that offensive. The only reason that the Cleveland Indians was considered offensive, it was because of the mascot. It wasn't actually the name Cleveland Indians. It was the goofy looking mascot where he was like, it was an Indian dude and he was smiling like cheese and but and if you look at all the cartoons, the racist cartoons that were depicted of Native Americans back in the days, they were compete they were portrayed as stupid, comical, and that's what that Indian kind of made them look at. It's like, oh, this is what they think of Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? So that was the reasoning behind them wanting to get rid of that Cleveland Indian logo.
yeah.
But a name like the Chiefs, and
And,
some
and
of
then
them
there's
have.
another school, North Dakota State Fighting Sioux. They're now called North Dakota. They're not called the Fighting Sioux anymore because
But that's what I'm saying. So you got to actually look at the history on some of these schools. I'm a Florida State fan, but man, I didn't even know until I learned this actually a few years ago that I think it was President Andrew Lincoln actually chased all of the Seminole Indians into the Everglades, and most of
way
them,
down the bottom, down there where we grew up at.
yeah, most of them died running from President. I think it was Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, that
Jackson.
sounds
I
about
don't know
right.
if I said
Andrew
Lincoln. I
Jackson
mean
is
Andrew
from
Jackson.
okay, okay.
And so he chased all of the Seminoles into like the Everglades, and they were hiding in the Everglades from um, the presidents and all that. I can't colonialism or whatever they were called back then. But that's actually how Florida State ended up being called Seminoles. And so now that's not right, And I'm a Florida State fan. I've always been. So maybe they needed to change that name. But then again, like I say, you got to look at the Native Americans themselves, and you got to talk to them and see how they feel. Like about these situations. Some of them might say, "Look, I'm not offended." Some of them may will. Maybe are offended. But if they are, man, you got to do what's best for them people. You have to. You
Yeah.
know? And if you got to come and change the name, so be it. It's just a name. But don't just give your team a trash name. That is
All right, let's move on. We're gonna come to the second second of our podcast. Let's talk about Barry Bonds not making the Hall of Fame. And let me pull up his information. All right. Let's see if we can share it. You see it?
Yeah.
So Barry Bonds, 14-time All-Star, 7-time NL MVP, 8-time Golden Glove, 2-time Silver Slugger Award, career NBL leader of home runs 762, career MLB walk-offs 2,558, single season home run leader 73. Only player with 500 home runs and 500. Is that stolen base? SB?
Golden bases.
Yeah. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something, man. Okay, so Barry Bonds, right? All these accolades that you just showed me, right? So it has never really been proven that the man took steroids.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Sammy Sosa and McGuire make the Hall of Fame? Or one of them did?
Sammy Sosa, I think.
I'm trying to get one of my
well, I'm not even 100% sure. But let me tell you something about Barry Bonds, right? Barry Bonds is he was the baseball version of Marshawn Lynch. All right, you know how Marshawn Lynch is with the media.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds was kind of like that.
I'm here not to get fined.
Yeah. Barry Bonds was kind of a dude that, he didn't really talk much to the media, anything, to any of, reporters and stuff back then. That was just not him. He was not that dude. He wasn't even like the best dude when it came to fans signing autographs and all that. But the man did his job though. And so the thing is, a lot of people didn't like Barry Bonds. So baseball is kind of a sport where it is based on your accolades, but it's also based on the type of person you are. They base a lot. And so just by Barry Bonds alone being, there were allegations that he did steroid, excuse me. He won't get in the Hall of Fame. And he probably will one day.
This is his last time because in baseball, you only get 5 tries, I believe. I'm trying to get my baseball expert on. Once he gets on, then we'll bring him as a guest on, and then he can tell you more about it. Let me try to call him now.
So here's the thing though, right? The man, if you ever look at Barry Bonds, right?
I sent you the link.
If you look at Barry Bonds, the man was, before he even got accused of steroids, the man had incredible numbers.
Even when he was playing with Pittsburgh, he was putting up numbers like
that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what happened is they basically said like he had one year where he kind of went from like being a good dude to just having this epic career. And I mean, to be honest with you, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have dudes who they'll be like, all right, that's an average dude. But then randomly they'll just have a monster year, but that doesn't define you as, you on some kind of performance enhancing drug, but I just feel like with Barry Bonds, they kind of are looking for something to keep this man out of the Hall of Fame. Even though it was never validated that he was on some kind of PEDs.
Okay.
It's just, that's something they were looking for. And see, you know what? I'm actually going to reserve the race card for something else, you know, that we're gonna talk about. So I'm
Hold
not
that
even.
phone for a sec, Jeff. I got a special guest on. Try to get him to get on. He's like a real baseball expert.
Yeah, because I am not, but I do know
Try to get him.
Barry Bonds. I know a little bit because I was a San Francisco Giants fan at one point in time.
Oh, you might not have a microphone. Um, Trying to get him to start his video because he's on. I see you on. You got your microphone?
Yeah, I'm trying to get on right now. Hold on.
Okay. He's trying to get on.
I'll call you right back.
Okay.
I'll be back. I'll be in a minute. I'm driving. Hold on.
Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. Well, he said he'll be back on in a minute, but go ahead and finish your statement. He's going to get back on.
Well, you know, kind of like what I just said, you know, I mean, the man was a beast before. Okay, like, so my thing is, this is what I don't like, right? So they want to keep this man out of the Hall of Fame, right? You know, they said he did see, I'm trying to look to see when they say he did steroids. But prior to his steroids, them accusing his steroids, the man was hitting like, I think he had already hit about 400 something home runs.
Right.
So, but let's go ahead and get his opinion on this.
All right. Let me ask him unmute. Mark, are you there?
Hey, brother, I'm sorry. First of all, I want to apologize that I had a little difficulty getting in. So you guys are talking about Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
We got you. We on YouTube Live and we're on Zoom Live. So tell the my podcast viewers like what you was telling me the other day about Barry Bonds, and you only get 5 tries against the Hall of Fame, and
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, if you guys can hear me quite well, I
I
am
hear
trying
you
to
clearly.
research that. Okay. And you probably can't see me that well, so I apologize.
But we just need your voice.
Okay. Well, anyway, as I was saying the other day, you only get so many tries. Now, I want to research that fact that you only get so many tries to make sure that I'm correct on that. I believe that I'm correct. But here's the problem I have with the whole Barry Bonds situation. He was a 7-time All-Star, great overall player. Here's my problem I have is that there were other players who were using steroids.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, who's that guy? He's played for the A's.
Canseco.
Yeah, Jose Canseco. Yeah.
But see, at this time, at the time when this was going on, Canseco was gone. He was out the league. He was on his last leg when this was ramping up. And then
it's been going on since his era too. Now, come on.
What's that now?
The steroid was going on in his era too.
Yeah, it was. But the thing was, everybody still on it got me the most. Like I said, Sosa and McGwire were on it too. It's no secret. And the only person that home run race, I told you the other day, that wasn't on it was Ken Griffey. And again, had he not gotten hurt 3 to 4 seasons back to back and only playing a couple of games after the All-Star games in 2 back-to-back seasons, I believe he would have been the home run king. Now, again, they knew what was going on, but yet to show you how racism plays a part in this whole situation, you have the Maris family, Roger Maris's family. They're not following everybody that's in the home run race at the time when it first popped off. They weren't following Griffey. They weren't following Sosa. They were not following Bonds, but they follow McGwire. No matter where McGwire played, if they could get there, they were there. They followed him to San Diego. They followed him in St. Louis. I mean, they were there because they wanted to see him do it. So what ends up happening? of course, he gets that season record. McGuire does. But overall, Barry Bonds becomes the home run king overall.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, with steroids, yes, it's still the king. But if you look at it, come on, man. It's like me and a little friend of mine were talking. The steroids build up your muscles, yeah, but your reflex in your eyes, it ain't got shit to do with that. Excuse my language. And the man still had talent because before he got on the steroids, he was still doing his thing. So for
Like I said, he was doing that in Pittsburgh.
So that was my thing, right? That's where I'm going with this, right? So even if you want to say like, okay, the man used steroids, which they've always just been allegations. It was never been proven.
Right.
What about before the allegation? This man was put up Hall of Fame numbers more than a lot of people in the Hall of Fame, even before he was ever accused of steroids.
Exactly.
So if that's the case, if you want to say like, okay, we gonna put him. Why is he not in based on the numbers prior to those allegations? Why isn't he in based on those numbers?
Man, because again, I just think they're trying to snub nose the brother, to be honest with you. Because you think about it, man, what other reason, and I totally agree with you, what other reason would there be than not to let this man in? There is no other reason. None whatsoever. So
no, it's not. And see, what I never liked about any of the Hall of Fames, especially baseball, is that it's not players that really vote you in. It's the writers. It's the sports writers.
I didn't know that.
Really,
that's new to me.
Yeah, they are the ones who vote you in, and plus you got to have 75%. So it's not about your accolades. It's just how I feel about you as a person. And that's the thing that I've always said, because Barry Bonds was not the most personable person. He never was. That was never him. And he still isn't that person. Like, I've only seen Barry Bonds my whole life really talk a handful of times, and he always came off as arrogant, cocky, like he ain't want to talk to anybody. But you know what? Hey, I mean, not everybody's a people person, but that, somebody might feel like as a Hall of Fame voter or writer, oh, I don't like his attitude, so he's not going to be on the Hall of Fame. Plus, I think he did steroids, or, even if he didn't, I don't know if he did or he didn't, I just don't like it. I mean, that's just dumb.
Exactly. And that's why I said this is racist. Because just because you don't like somebody, I mean, hell, there's plenty of people I don't like, but in my opinion, if they get their numbers up there, then why should I be against them? Now, okay, like this, Tom Brady. A lot of people have their problems with Tom Brady. I'm one of them. But the thing that I'm saying about Brady is when you look at Brady, he has put up Hall of Fame numbers. We cannot deny that. But when I believe a lot of it is set up by referee calls and the game was set up, I do believe some of that has happened too.
I agree.
But at the same time,
still can't take away some of what he did.
Yeah, I can't. You're right. I cannot. And and that's what it is. But see, Brady, everybody, you think about it. Any New England fans just all of a sudden decided to climb out from under a rock when he was playing for New England. You saw Patriots saying, "Oh, the Patriots," all because it was a winner. You ain't really got no team, but you screaming Patriots. I know plenty of people still walking around with Patriots gear on because of that situation.
Man, I just know, man, it's a shame that this brother isn't in the Hall of Fame. And I do feel like, I mean, you only get 5 tries, but that don't mean you still can't get in. It just goes to where it's some kind of way they got to still like vote you in every year. You just don't get in through it's pretty much not getting in through the front door. you pretty much got to get in through the back door now.
And that's my next question. Do you think they're gonna make a special arrangements to get him in after?
Well, supposedly, like at some point, you're gonna have to let him in no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
Is making it harder on this man, kind of like the dude Pete Rose.
No, man, I was just gonna bring him up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So since that dude gambled on baseball, and I remember it was last year, the commissioner was basically just told the man, like, if you apologize, then you'll get in the Hall of Fame. And the man was like, I mean, what do you want me to do? Y'all ain't let me in. I done did all these and all that.
Okay, hold on, guys. Bootleg Podcast said you now have 10 years to make the Hall of Fame after you're eligible. It was reduced from 15 years to 10 years. The writers that have votes can only vote for 10 players during each vote.
The writers can. But then after that, you go to some kind of arbitrary thing and something like that. It's like some kind of special thing where it goes out of writer hands and some other arbitrary thing, So eventually they're gonna have to get the man in, just like Pete Rose. Eventually, Pete Rose is going to get in the Hall of Fame. Now, I know it might not be in his lifetime, but at some point, are you going to keep these players out because of things that they may or may not have done? And Pete Rose is, perspective. He actually did it. But the commissioner was like, well, if you apologize, then we'll let you in. But come on, dude. So you basically want me to beg you to let me in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, though, bro. Here's the thing, though, fellas. Pete Rose, when he first got caught, and probably throwing a few games here and there, he openly said when he first got caught, I am so sorry. I did not. He said that. I saw it in the press conference. But yet, they're still holding this man out, so they want him to grovel, like you said.
That's what it is. And I feel like Barry Bonds is kind of the same way. They want Barry Bonds to basically say, like, he did steroids, but he's vehemently said he hasn't done it. They tried to make him do that. They tried to make him do it. They tried to make Roger Clemens do it. They tried to make the only person that actually came out and said that he did it was the dude who played for the Red Sox. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He actually said he did it, but he was the only one that actually, did it. But everybody else denied it. But I think they want them to basically come out and try to say like they did it, even though they're saying that they haven't done it. Oh, we want you to do this and we might let you in. Come on, man.
Yeah, man, that the whole groveling thing. Look, man, I'm sorry, but as a man, there are things, there may be something you may want to grovel about. I don't know what that is yet. I haven't figured it out. But how are you going to sit there and grovel because somebody wants you to apologize? It's basically a slap in your face.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, my brother. We got.
Thanks, Mark, man. Thanks for the info. We got to move on, man. So,
okay. Well, hey,
fellas, podcast, man. And he has a podcast too now. Brother and the
brother.
Yeah,
it's on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Apple, Google Podcast. Right now we're on a break, but I'm gonna say this much: we're going to resume in August.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna resume in August.
That's what's up. We definitely gonna be checking you out, man. We trying to we're gonna be in Google, but we got to do all that too, man. We doing big things.
Mark, we're gonna talk, man. We try to get on y'all level, man.
Oh man, look, hey, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Thank you again for the time, and hey, like I said, hey, hit me up. I'll tell y'all how to set everything up.
All right.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Peace.
So wow, great special guest by Mark, and then again, appreciate Bootleg Cable Podcast for giving us information, and let's move on to Brian Flores.
Oh yeah,
y'all know what happened with that. For those who don't know who Brian Flores is, he was the Dolphins head coach who won 7 straight games, got fired by the Dolphins, was being interviewed by the Giants and the was it just the Giants? Or was it a couple more teams?
No, it was a couple more teams. He's actually still being interviewed,
I
by
heard the Texans.
Texans
Yeah,
and I think the Saints.
and my business partner Manny gave me this video. I'm not going to play it, but
Yeah, I actually watched it a little bit.
and it was Belichick that really messed it up, and which cost him to sue the Giants because he thought he had the job, and it was given to the other Brian. Brian, what was his last name?
Dable.
Yeah. So he's suing, 3 NFL teams: the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Giants. The Giants was the I feel the Giants was the least of the bad news. It was the Dolphins and the Broncos, because when he was with the Dolphins, the owner was telling him, was just saying, I'm gonna give you X amount of dollars to lose and tank for Tua in the draft. And then he was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm a coach. I want to coach the team. So he ended up still getting Tua in the draft. And then the owner wanted to bring him into his yacht with a certain quarterback they were trying to get to the Dolphins. And I guess he was there, but he left because he knew what was going on and stuff. So they say he's hard to work with and that. And then with the Broncos, with Elway showing up, and I think Elway and the general manager showed up late to the interview. They was drinking prior to. So it's all types of stuff going on with this right here. So go ahead, man.
All right, so I mean, right now, Brian Flores he's suing the Giants, he's suing the Denver Broncos, he's suing
Dolphins.
the Dolphins and the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL. I don't know what the NFL situation was about.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Brian Flores basically feels like, he's been interviewed to satisfy the room.
How you doing, brother? You all right?
And so anybody that knows the Rooney Rule, basically, it means that all 32 NFL teams must interview a minority, whether they're Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. They have to interview them. They don't have to hire you.
Right.
You just have to interview. So to me, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is what I'm going to say. That in itself is a sham. Why do we have a rule made by the NFL where you must interview a minority? Because to me, that is a token gesture. Hey, Jay.
It's the same thing with hiring for a regular job. You have to use.
Oh yeah, but exactly, that's my point.
Why do you even have in the first place?
Oh, okay. So here, this is. I'm glad that you said that, right? Because see, here's my thought process, right? As a Black man, when I walk up into an interview and I'm dressed to impress, nice shirt, tie, slacks, the whole nine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm getting interviewed because of my qualifications, or I don't know if I'm interviewed just to satisfy a token interview to say like, oh, I interviewed somebody Black. Even in the hiring process, even if you get hired, you don't know if you're getting hired because you're Black or you're qualified. That is the unfortunate life that you live as a Black individual. For those of you who may not know what N.O.T.E Podcast stands for, it stands for Not of This Earth. And I feel like as a Black man, we feel like we're aliens on our own planet. So when a coach like Brian Flores, Patrick Graham was the black coach, the defensive coordinator for the Giants. And there's been so many others, countless others. When they come up in an interview, they might be as qualified or more qualified than their counterparts. A lot of them have, been coaching for 20 years, 30 years. Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, special teams, whatever you can name, right? Mm-hmm. But when they go to that interview and they're like, man, I'm qualified, only get shot down for somebody that was a coordinator for 1 year, who's been in the league 5 years. I feel like, why would I even, to be honest with you, I wouldn't take the interview. That moving forward as a black man, I would not take an interview by an NFL team unless you would have to basically, I'm not flying. I don't care if it's all expenses paid for. If you're going to interview me, we're going to do it through Zoom. We can do it over the phone. I'm not coming to your facility just for a token gesture because, at this point, you don't know. Do we really know?
Your mindset might be different because, like, most of these coaches don't want to do Zoom. They want to, do a face-to-face interview.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it, man. Like, a lot of these coaches, let's just look at some of the names. Okay, right? Why some of these coaches don't have jobs? Brian Flores got fired. He went 24 and 25.
Yeah, but I felt he got fired because he didn't want to do it with
no, he didn't want to comply. But check this out, right? This dude, they had 2 back-to-back winning seasons. They hadn't had that in years. That was the first time the Dolphins had back-to-back winning seasons in years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The owner wanted him to do things his way, but he was like, "No, that's not right. Why are you going to give me this kind of money to tank for a quarterback? I want to coach."
Jim Caldwell, right? Jim Caldwell.
I remember that one.
He took the Colts to the Super Bowl. They lost. I think that was the year they lost to the Saints, right? They lost to the Saints. He was fired, and that was the year Peyton Manning got hurt, right? Now, when he went to the Lions, the man
he did go to the Lions.
Coach. Yeah. Huh?
He did go to the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as the Lions head coach, right? The man had a record of where is it?
One of them years, I think one of them years, Detroit did go to the playoffs and lose first round, like 10-6.
Yeah, they did. I'm trying to look at it. They I can't
No, I remember they went 10-6 and went to the playoffs and lost first round to
they went back to back.
Yeah.
And I think his record with the Lions were I think it was like 37 and he was 36 and 28, right?
Yeah.
He was 36 and 28 with the Lions. You know what their record has been since he was with that team? They're like 15 and 60.
That sounds about right.
But he doesn't have a job.
Look at Lovie Smith. When's the last time we saw him?
Exactly. Went to the Super Bowl.
He's coaching college somewhere.
Don't have a job though. Byron Leftwich. I can go on and on.
Well, I think he just got the job with the Jaguars, right?
Who? No, they just hired Doug Peterson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Leftwich got the job. See, that's crazy. I thought he got the job. That's crazy though. Dang.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, look, you and I are both the Giants fans. The Giants are the last team to have a black quarterback. And that was your boy Geno Smith a few years ago.
Yeah, and they fired McAdoo the next week.
Yeah,
but
him 1 year. look,
But I didn't know the Giants never had a black coach. We
yeah.
had Reese as a GM, and then the quarterback situation with Geno Smith. But that's crazy, man.
So look, see that's my thing. Look, I all these teams racist. I cannot definitively say yes. I cannot definitively say no. But I can tell you this: there's one black quarterback in the NFL.
And he's still coaching.
Yes, Mike Tomlin. But you know what? Since when they first implemented the Rooney rule in 2003, that was 3 head coaches. When they first implemented the Rooney rule, and that was in 2003, almost 20 years ago, and that was one black head coach, one black. So you telling me none of these guys are qualified and there are 32 teams? The problem is the NFL system is broken because you have a lot of these owners who own a team. They all, I think it's like only one dude who's not, white. And I think that's the dude, Shad Khan from Jacksonville. They're all white, blue collar, owners. And so when they look at it, they feel like, and this is why for a long time, we didn't have black quarterbacks. It's kind of, and this is my opinion. I feel like they look at black people or black males that we're not capable of leading a team. Even though Jim Caldwell got to the Super Bowl, he lost, but he was black. Mike Tomlin has been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, he's black.
Tony Dungy won one.
Went to one.
Tony Dungy won one.
Yeah,
no,
Tony Dungy won one. Yeah, he did. He won one.
I thought he won 2. No, because he left Tampa. I think
Jay he won one, and then you had Lovie Smith. I think I might have said him twice, but you had 4 of them that went to the Super Bowl, and 2 have won, 2 won, 2, and 2 lost 2.
You might want to count Rivera because he's Spanish. He's still a minority.
Yes, he's Hispanic, so he went Super Bowl. So that's 5. That's 5 minorities that have been to Super Bowl. So I mean, I feel like, are we picking the right people for the job, or we just picking people based on colors, and you think they might be the person for the job?
No, I think they're scared that they'll take over. The minorities and blacks will be better coaches than them. So and they'll be better leaders.
I don't know, man. So look, I mean, I understand what Brian Flores is saying, man. The system is flawed. It's flawed. And nobody will want to go to an interview based on, there's a quota that has to be made instead of the right person for the job, man. Nobody will want that.
So the question that I'm hearing on all the sports channels is, has Flores sabotaged himself with the NFL as a coach? Will he ever coach in the NFL again?
I mean, that remains to be seen, man. If he actually doesn't, it's kind of proving his point. If he gets blackballed, his point is pretty much validated.
That's what I've been hearing on the Fox Sports and the ESPN saying that he just sabotaged himself of being the NFL coach again. But then again, you said the Texans is offering him was interviewing him, right?
Well, he's still in the running for the Texans and the Saints. But again, man, it remains to be seen. But I definitely understand how it feels. As a black man, I do. So all right. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Let's move on. What we have left? We got
a couple. That's why we got to keep going. Let's keep going.
Let's talk about your favorite player, Russell Westbrook.
Trash.
So apparently he's been struggling with the Lakers. Jeff hates him.
That's a strong word, my man. That is a strong word.
And Shaq is using him for bloopers.
He looks like he doesn't have a clue. All right, look. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this dude. Like, Let me tell you something. And me and my homeboy, we always talk about this. Russell Westbrook might be the most athletic point guard I have ever seen. I remember years ago when he was playing on the Thunder. I had a debate with this dude who absolutely knows no sports. I ain't gonna say his name, but he absolutely knows nothing about sports, but he will always debate you. So let me just get out of the way. I told him, I said, man, let me tell you something. Russell Westbrook doesn't play defense. He can't shoot, and he doesn't have a high soccer IQ. And I said that when he was playing with the Thunder. I said that when he was with Kevin Durant and James Harden. I said that. Dude argued me down. No, man, what you talking about? You don't know, man. That dude can ball. He gets all these triple doubles. Russell Westbrook has single-handedly made triple doubles irrelevant. And I never thought that would happen. Nobody even cares anymore that this dude gets triple doubles. The 1 year when he first set the record, and he had the most triple doubles in the history of NBA. Everybody was like, "Oh man, this dude got triple doubles. Nobody's ever done that." When I saw him play, this dude was fighting his own teammates for rebounds. I mean, I've never seen that. Like you know, your teammate going for a rebound, you out jumping your own teammate for the rebound. Now, some might argue, "Oh, he's just real passionate." You know, "Oh, he loves the game." This dude has played with, let's count all the people he's played with. Kevin Durant, James Harden twice, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron,
AD,
Anthony Davis,
Bradley
Paul
Beal.
George, Bradley Beal. Man, what's that dude? Victor Oladipo. This dude has played with so many freaking all-stars and has never won. Dude, you done played with everybody named mama and you haven't won anything. He can't shoot. He can't shoot the ball. He makes horrible decisions. But you know what? He's still going to the Hall of Fame. Why? Because Basketball Hall of Fame lets anybody in. They let everybody in.
I do agree he should be on the second lineup with Carmelo and that second lineup. I don't think he should be playing with LeBron side by side.
But look, you know what? I blame LeBron. LeBron wanted this dude. This dude is making $40-something million a year. And the Lakers are the ninth. I mean, every day I look at like Undisputed and all that stuff, man. And they have they have highlights of this dude, his blooper reels. I think I showed you his blooper reels.
Well, they had no Shaq and the Fool.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something though. Somebody brought up Iverson can shoot. Iverson was a leader though. Iverson was smart. You know, if you
Iverson
look
played
at Iverson,
defense.
yeah, Iverson can play defense. If you look at Iverson, man, everybody always try to glorify LeBron because he took that Cleveland team when they was trash to the championship. Okay.
07
Yeah,
with
but that's because the East was trash. The East was trash. Iverson did the same thing with the Sixers. He did the exact same thing. And he beat a Laker team with Shaq and Kobe by himself. He had an old Dikembe Mutombo, Eric freaking Snow, right. And I can't even tell you who the rest of them dudes were. You know,
had McKee. You had one of Davis. I think Davis.
He had nobody because they were trash. You know, but this dude could ball. When you look at Russell Westbrook, how many threes? This dude averages like 29% for his career for like the three-point line. He's like a 60 or 70% shooter from the free throw line. This dude will run down the court and take on 4 people and be like, all right, then just throw it because he ain't absolutely had no choice. Throw it out of
What
bounds.
I'm starting to think James Harden the same way too. Is he starting to turn the ball over and not
At
play
least he can
defense?
shoot. He don't play defense, but at least he can shoot. Come on, man.
The other day went 2 for 36 the other day.
Russell Westbrook is the best, worst dude I've ever seen in my life.
That's worse.
Yeah. I mean, they actually need to come up with something in the dictionary that says best, worst, and put his face there. Like best, worst. You know, you the burst. You know, he's the burst. Call him the burst. You are the best, worst. You the burst. The first burst player in NBA history. You know.
You know what's crazy? In college, he played with Kevin Love at UCLA. I totally forgot about that.
Man, even Kevin Love was probably like, dog, I don't know how we made it. You know what? He gonna make it to the Hall of Fame, but they need to put like a little asterisk next to his name that says Hall of Famer, but shouldn't be. You know, and just a little small asterisk, Hall of Famer, but shouldn't be. Because this dude had the worst, basketball IQ I have ever seen. But you know what? This man has made $200-something million in the NBA. He has robbed the NBA blind. I tip my hat to you, man.
No, ain't nobody robbed the NBA like John Wall, all right?
Well, him too. No, you know, they said they were the only two people, man, that people would they would swap for. You know, Houston was like, all right, we'll give y'all John Wall.
Think about it. John Wall is getting paid. Ben Simmons is getting broke.
Hey, man, I'm tired of talking about this trash, man. I'm thinking about bricks more. Let's move on, man.
All right, next topic. We got the Super Bowl ticket costs, ticket prices that Chad Ochocinco, aka Chad Johnson, is complaining about. And I got a picture of that also.
Yeah, this is
like, look at these prices, man. Like for real, for the Super Bowl. And what's sad is that people will spend their life, earn money to get a seat in a 300 section for $5,000.
Oh yeah, they're the nosebleeds. Man, so the cheapest one I'm looking at right now is just a shade under $5,000. Right.
You that at?
You gotta look
top,
at it.
Top 483.
Yeah, it's almost to the point. It's almost outside the stadium. You know, you might as well be hanging on the rim or the outside of the stadium looking at it. Look, man.
Were they like that when they was in Miami 2 years ago?
I don't know. But look, I've never been to a football game ever. You have.
Yes.
I've never been to one. And I remember I was gonna go to one here in Dallas. The Cowboys were playing, the freaking Giants.
So before you get that, let me tell you a story. In Florida, I'd never been to an NFL game in Florida. I moved to Tennessee in college. I was in the marching band, and we had to do an NFL game with the Titans. And guess who the team that we had to play against? One of our first football game was against.
Cowboys?
No, the Dolphins.
Oh,
How ironic is that? Me being from down Fort Lauderdale, moved to Tennessee, our first NFL we had to march halftime with was against the Dolphins.
Exactly. But look at this, right? Think about this now. I was gonna, go to the game.
Uh-huh.
My wife and I, we're gonna go to the game. The cheapest tickets were like $175 a piece.
And that's Dallas. They know Dallas fans.
Yeah, but they were like in the nosebleeds. I mean, you probably been so high up, man, like it would have looked like ants looking down. So looking at this, right? You and I both know who these tickets are for. These tickets are not for the common man.
No.
And that's the sad thing about a lot of these, sports venues. They're not for the common man. That's why the common man watches these games on TV like myself, because some people will say like, oh, it's nothing like the experience. But
What experience? You can pay your life salary.
but that's what I'm saying. So the cheapest Super Bowl ticket on here is $48.30, almost $5,000. So let's say you're gonna have to pay for parking.
That's another
Right.
$1,000.
Let's say I think the game is actually in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So let's say you're not from Los Angeles. You're gonna have to either take a flight or you're gonna have to drive or rent. You don't have to get a hotel, all that. So now just to even get to the game is maybe $2,000 on top of
The hotel
almost
paying what?
$5,000 ticket. So that's $7,000. So you might have to, if for the common man, the common man might have to not spend, save that whole entire year just to go to that game, just to sit in the nosebleed. You get what I'm saying? And then it's kind of like they're actually showing you that these games aren't for you. They're showing you like this ain't for you. It's not for you.
That's why most people will go just to party afterwards. They don't even go to the game. They
You know,
just
some people go to
tailgate.
tailgate like just to be outside. Now, if you want to go sit in the
Even
park,
tailgate is going to be a lot of money because you got to park the car and then tailgate.
exactly. But my thing is, man, like I mean, at this point, if you might as well just straight up say like, these tickets are for the haves and not the have-nots. So why are you here? You know, it's ridiculous. It is really ridiculous, my man. These ain't for people like you and I. These tickets ain't for you and me.
Now we
They
might
not.
get lucky and win a contest to get those tickets.
I had a friend that won a contest to the Giants game that first Super Bowl. You know, he's a Giants fan.
Yeah,
But that was the only way.
yeah.
And I ain't even gonna lie to you. If it's my team, I won some tickets. I might turn around and sell them tickets. Hey man, this game, I really want to see the game.
I'll find it. I'll sleep in my car and then drive to the Super Bowl.
Be like, hey man, I got these tickets on sale for 10 grand.
I think I'll go to the game. See me, I would go to the game for the experience, but as far as like trying to travel, I probably would drive, use my car, and sleep in my car.
Get that experience. Hey, that 10 grand gonna look real nice in my pocket compared to that game. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm selling them tickets, man. I would have sold them tickets, man. Hey, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. But those ain't for the common man, my man. They not.
All right.
All right, let's keep it moving.
We're coming to the last topic. We're coming to an end of a quarterback era. Let me pull that up. We already know that Tom Brady retired and Ben Roethlisberger. So that pretty much clears up the end of that era. As you can see. So now we're coming into a new era of quarterbacks.
You still got Rodgers.
Rodgers and Stafford, yeah, but I mean,
no, Stafford was a little after them. But
Stafford and Rodgers came out the same year, though, I think. Around that era, same era.
Nah, they ain't that. I think Stafford been in the game about 10 years, maybe 12.
But anyway, now you have Patrick Mahomes, you got Allen, you got Burrow, Jackson. That era. We're talking about that era. Who would you compare to who? Like, who would you compare Peyton Manning? Who would you compare Peyton Manning to this era of quarterbacks? Would you do Patrick Mahomes or would you do Lamar Jackson?
Man, if anybody like Peyton Manning, to me, it would be Aaron Rodgers. And I know Aaron Rodgers.
So you gonna put Aaron Rodgers in this era, or you'll put him in another? Like,
no,
I'm not so sure about the Stafford and Rodgers. Like, what era would you put them in?
I would. Okay, Rodgers.
Because he came out in 2006, I believe. Was it 6?
All right. So if I was to look at, I think it's only like three people that I really would put together. I would go Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Matt Stafford. Those three are kind of hovering around like the same age.
Okay.
I think Russell Wilson is like 33.
Yeah.
Stafford probably is around about 34. I think Rodgers is probably the only one. I think he's about 35, 36. He actually might be older than that. So, but then after that, you got, pretty much the young dudes.
Yeah. Oh, so don't forget Chargers quarterback. Justin. No, not Hubert.
Hubbard.
Hubbard. Yeah. He's
Herbert.
pretty good.
Matter of fact, man, Aaron Rodgers is actually 38. So he's a year younger.
38? Oh wow.
Yeah, 38. So you got I mean, the way the NFL is now, I think you don't really have everybody that you basically put up, every single one of those quarterbacks were mainly pocket passers. The only two
Except
that
for
really
Jackson.
scramble, huh?
Except for Jackson.
No, I'm talking about the quarterbacks that you have.
Oh, up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew Brees used to scramble a little bit, and Ben Roethlisberger used to scramble a little bit.
Yeah,
All the rest of those four, those dudes were statues.
Yeah.
These days, you kind of have more mobile quarterbacks.
Well, you need to because defensive ends are getting faster.
Mahomes is a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a mobile quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the most mobile out of all of them. The dude Herbert can run. So you got more mobile quarterbacks. So I think you really can't compare these quarterbacks to those because these quarterbacks aren't exactly pocket passers. So it's kind of hard to say like, oh, who's this person? I think now we're looking at who's going to be the next Tom Brady, who's going to be the next Peyton Manning, who's going to be the next.
That's what I meant. Who will be the next Tom Brady or Roethlisberger, or who's going to be the one on the right, Rivers, who ain't never won it.
With you, again, it might not be a popular opinion. It's probably going to be an unpopular opinion. But I think Mahomes is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play football. Now, he had the worst second half I've ever seen a quarterback have ever against the Bengals.
I was going to say the same thing until Burrow came into the league.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Even if Burrow wins this year, I mean, Mahomes has pretty much been there almost every year for the last 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, would you see a lot of Mahomes and Burrow like you saw Peyton Manning and Tom Brady?
No, because I feel like, man, like the way things are, man, it's Peyton and Tom Brady battled for years, man. They battled for like years. I mean, for years, Tom Brady was the reason Peyton never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
He was always that one dude. And so right now, I don't see a bunch of rivalries right now because the game has changed so much. And I think it'll be like a couple years, like now the Mahomes and Josh Allen battle has kind of like for the last 2 years.
You'll see that a
Mahomes
lot.
has beaten him, but I think it'll be like a couple years down the line before we can say like, oh, these two dudes these two dudes have been consistently going against each other. So
now another name I ain't bring up, Trevor Lawrence. What do you think about Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, it's just hard to say about him right now because Jacksonville was so bad.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, is that more him or is that more Jacksonville?
I think that's more Jacksonville because
exactly.
He had nothing around him.
You will know about 2 years. You will know.
Same thing happened to Stafford. Stafford had, at one point he just had one person that was Megatron. But Megatron left, he had nobody. Now look at him. He went to LA and he's in freaking the Super Bowl.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it just remains to be seen, my man. It remains to be seen. So we'll see.
Now we're going to come to let me check the comments. All our comments are the same. Now we come to the 5 for the culture. And for 5 of the culture, we will talk about Lucia Harris.
Explain to the people who that is.
So Lucia Harris, for those who don't know, she played, basketball in college. I forgot what school she went to. I think she was the first black woman to be drafted in the NBA. She was known as the queen of basketball. This was before Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller and all those guys. And I want to say it was back in the 70s. I don't have the whole story up, but if you could see that there, she's the first woman to be drafted by the NBA. And she passed away a couple weeks ago at the age of 66. And that's the picture of her right there. And she had I didn't know she had a documentary, The Queen of Basketball and a Trailblazer in the Sport. Now, I've never seen her play, but I mean, for her to get drafted in the NBA, and the only reason why she didn't play is because she got pregnant at that time with I think it was a son.
Yeah, she was 6'3". She was 6'3". And actually she played on the women's basketball team, man, in the Olympics.
Yeah. It's like this is before Cheryl Miller and Lisa Leslie and all those folks. So she paved the way for them.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, unfortunately, we don't know much about a lot of these people. And that's kind of why, I wanted us to, come up with a segment called 5 for the Culture, man, to highlight, a lot of Black individuals, man, who had achievements. Some are well known, some are little known. But when you get a chance, man, you can read up or watch documentaries on people like Lucia Harris. You learn a lot, man. About you as a person and as a people. That I mean, when I saw this, I didn't even know. And I didn't even know there was a woman that was drafted to the NBA. But it's things like that, like you said, that are paving the way for women like Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie and
to do
Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller should have been playing in the NBA. Or she was.
Yeah, exactly. To do what they, did back then, man. And I'm pretty sure that are women that could have made it in the NBA before that was a WNBA. So for her to be a pioneer, man, and make it and do it like that, man, that's amazing. So that's why we do things like this.
All right. And that concludes our segment of the N.O.T.E Podcast. We are now streaming live on YouTube. So if you didn't watch us, you can watch our YouTube. I'll send the link out on my Facebook page. I'm pretty sure JB Jr. will do it on his Facebook page. And you can watch our recorded podcast. So that's a step up for us.
Yeah, I mean, our goal for this year is to definitely be on more social media, be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and to get out there. And again, we always appreciate the support from you guys, and again, we try to basically try to be a voice for the people that don't always feel like they have something to say, or they won't want to say something, but they don't know how to say it. And so I feel like that's what we here for. We got y'all.
Yeah, we had the bootleg cable podcast watching from YouTube. We had Mark, his podcast, and his sister, Beauty and the Brother. They came on to watch. Thank you for those watching. So I think we're going somewhere with this.
Yeah, and look, if any one of y'all want to be on the podcast, man, hit me or Jay up, man. At any point of time, y'all got something to talk about. Y'all want to talk about. You want to be on a segment or whatever. Just let us know, and we'll make that happen. Because we always want somebody to have a say, not just us. We want to hear from y'all.
And
That's what we want.
if you got some topics that you feel that we need to talk about, just hit us up, and we'll put we'll put it in the podcast, and we'll even bring you on as a guest.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Topic, and that's why I brought Marcus in, because I was talking to him the other day about the Barry Bonds thing, and I was like, you know what, I need to bring you on, and you need to talk to him about what he talked about with Barry Bonds.
Yeah. And we going back to the ground, man. We're gonna make our way at some point back to the ground, man.
Yeah.
And again, sorry for the technical difficulties. It's gonna be better. We working on it. We steady improving. Looking ways for us to improve this.
Until then, we're out. We'll catch y'all. I'll be in Dallas next week. So
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen.
all right. Until then, we'll see you all.